My name
though
is
they were very, they
Dan
were quite
Lawson.
prescriptive, but they
And
were so
do you have
because they
a
gave me
story
a
you'd
piece
like
of
to share
paper
about learning
that
to
told me
read?
how to do it.
Or...
Yeah, I had one about how to do a close
I
reading,
guess,
and I just spent so much time with these. I'm so glad that I
my
have
story
them,
would be,
because now I can remake them for my own.
I learned to read through comic books. My parents, when I was 4 years old, had got me a bunch of comic books.
And I've tried to track her down,
just
and I can't.
for something to
I have no
entertain
idea
me
where
with.
she went. She's not at the school
And
anymore.
I would read them. I would puzzle out what some of the words were, but for the most part, I didn't understand the words so much as trying to assemble what was happening on the page by, inferring what was happening through the sequencing. Oh, well, he's down here now, and he was upstairs before, so clearly he walked down the stairs. Mostly, I just like the colors and the designs, of course. And while I had been exposed, I guess, to formal literacy training, as most kids are through primary school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, it was really through comics that I had honed that. If I didn't know what a word was, I could sort of infer it not just by the verbal context clues, but what was happening in the diegesis and the visual stuff happening on the page. But I was also encouraged as I got older to put away the kiddie stuff and not, read real books, essentially, as defined by...
So this would be in school, or your parents?
Both in school and in parents. And I would still try to work ways, so if I had a school project on something, I would try to bring cartoons or comics that I'd cut from the pages of the newspaper for that part of it, whenever I could. It wasn't anything intentional or wasn't trying to be subversive or anything. It was just, I really liked comics. And so, as I got older, of course, I began to compartmentalize these literacies. I became a fairly proficient reader in more traditional texts and sites. And it wasn't until grad school that I became aware that this was a literacy in its own right. It was something I just kind of kept even into adulthood.
At what point, when was that realization? When were you like, oh my goodness, this
Diana George's visual rhetoric class. We were reading graphic novels and The Road to Perdition. One of my classmates, who is one of the most intelligent people I know, was struggling with it a little bit. She said there was a sequence, an action sequence, in which the protagonist of the story gets in a gunfight, runs down some stairs, grabs a hat or something, evades the antagonist, and meanwhile this kid is silently watching all of this. And she says, I have no idea what's happening on this page. And I said, well, it's pretty obvious. He's going down the stairs, he's picking up his gun here, he shoots those guys, ducks behind the... How do you know this? I said, well, if by this panel you know what's happening in the panel before it, which then... So you kind of have to read through it and go back. And at that moment, oh, I'm engaging in a form of literacy. It was a really eye-opening experience, and because of that, well, I think I want to do this for real now. So I approached Diana about directing my dissertation. I don't know what I want to do it on, but I want to do it on comics because that's literacy, and I had no idea. And so it was a humbling experience, but it also kind of validated a 5-year-old in a lot of ways.
Right.
So went on, did my dissertation. I don't do a whole lot of that as much now, but every chance I get, I'm constantly buying comics, graphic novels, and looking at web pages for that sort of visual literacy stuff.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, what a great story.
thanks.